What's going on, everyone? This is Squids. How's everybody doing today? We got another fabulous episode of Nagatoro to talk about, so I can't even contain it. It was such a good episode. Even got a new freaking song from Sumire, the voice actress from Nagatoro, in like the latter half of the episode, which is usually how you know it's getting close to the end with a emotional climax and just something important happening. So it really freaking made me happy. But let's just get into the episode. We start off pretty much literally shot for shot recap of last episode with Nagatoro and her buddies hanging out at the dojo, talking about when she's at judo, she's gonna focus on judo, and after that she's gonna bother Senpai. And on the other hand, we had Senpai hanging out in the art room with Hana, talking about you just gotta grab that love thing, you can't just do two-footing around about this stuff, which she's not wrong. However, she's gotta know who the heck she's talking to, even though he has grown substantially as a character throughout the season. They both have, him and Nagatoro, but he's still Senpai. So he's picturing this dream in his head, and they're on like the beach and they're going out, and it's a nice sunsetty sky, and they're hanging together. And then we come back to reality, and he's asking all these questions like, how would this work? I don't even know. And she's probably just messing with me, because he's in all self-denial, which I get that, especially with how their relationship has built over time. But he's just got to take a chance with it. And of course, poor Hana has no idea, because she's never, been in love either, so she doesn't know how to answer the questions that he's giving, but she wants to try. In my opinion, Hana and Sana are actually really awesome characters, but Hana's like a league above. She's just like this underling that just wants the best for him, and at the same time wants to do everything she can to achieve it. And I really appreciate that as a character, but she also is different enough to stand out from other characters like that, if that makes sense. Maybe that's just me. I love the character. So we go outside, and it's nighttime already. Art club's done, and Senpai's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's really late. Do you need a ride?" And she's like, nah, I got a ride. And we see Sana pull up in this nice freaking bike, right? And she's freaking got this bunny helmet on, and it actually looks pretty badass, not gonna lie to you. And then she's wearing this like jump tracksuit, and her, as always, tits just hanging out. And she's like, "Oh, it's been a while since I've seen you. How's it going?" Because she's at university now, and it's the new year. And so little to behold, he's thinking to himself, like, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell her. That's just gonna cause more shit." But Hana runs up to her immediately and whispers like everything into her ear, like, they're at risk of being torn apart. The love nest is broken. And so she gives him the advice, because in my opinion, she gives the more like brutal, honest advice, whereas Hana just gives what she can give, but she really is caring. But she tells Senpai to follow his heart, and she's gonna be waiting to see how it turns out. And so right after that, Senpai goes, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just wait outside and see, if Nagatoro's done yet." And it looks like it's still going on. So he's like, "I'll just wait a few minutes." But we all know deep down inside, this man's waiting the whole time. You can't blame him, but deep down inside he's waiting the whole time. And while he's waiting for this to happen, Nagatoro comes sprinting out of the room, which damn well she was gonna sprint to the art room if he was not there. And they make this eye contact, and she's got a little blush on her cheeks, and she asks him straight up if he was waiting for her, and he's like, "Nah, I was just passing by," which we all know is BS, but it's cute. And so they're starting to walk home, and Nagatoro's like, it sucks with all the schedules, and if we were in the same, grade, I could at least toy with you between classes. And you can tell that the fact that they're kind of, starting to develop their own lives. I mean, fair, Senpai really hasn't changed anything, but Nagatoro's finally like joining club now that she's a second year, and just developing a schedule and what it's going to be like when Senpai graduates here. But Senpai obviously takes the advice, and he's doing the glasses shuffle and asks Nagatoro if there's somewhere she'd want to go on her day off. We get this like mid flash, which I got the cap just completely bad because it was really hard to get a cap for that scene. But Hana tells Sana that she really loves the bunny ears on her helmet, which will come to play later on instead of just her little baseball cap-esque style helmet. And she appreciates it. And then cut back to the asking of the scene here, and Nagatoro gets this like really cute nervousy grin on her face with a little sweat, and he's like, is there any place you'd want to go? So she starts listing places that are realistically unideal at the least. Like she says Antarctica, or not Antarctica, my bad, we'll start with the right ones. Mount Everest, and of course Senpai just imagines himself getting hurt and falling down. And then she says the African savanna, and it seems like everything's going fine until they see the lions, and Senpai's like, no, we're gonna get eaten to death. But we get to see Nagatoro in this cute little cheetah costume again, a little cute. And then she says Antarctica to go visit the penguins, and that seems like the most like undeadly of the scenarios for them, but obviously very unattainable and unrealistic. But he's like, thinking to himself, those are attainable. Maybe this was a stupid question, and he didn't say that out loud, but you can kind of tell. And then she gets this like, she does this twice. Her wall cracks because she really wants to do this, even though she's acting tough. Deep down she really wants to go on this date. So she's like, no, let's think of something. You come up with an idea. And so he comes up with the movie theaters, and he's like, oh shit, maybe I guess that's too tame for you. And she's like, it's not a bad idea, just really boring. So, excuse me. Senpai comes up with this like, he's like, oh, something animals related, exciting, whatever. Let's go to the racetrack. And of course, Nagatoro's betting all her money. Oh gosh, Nagatoro's betting all her money, and she's like, we're a little young for that, aren't we? And he's like, yeah, good point. So then he imagines, he says, let's go to a dog fight. I will say the stills from Nagatoro's faces are epic, but rightly so. She punches him square in the fucking face on that one and says no. And they split ways. He can't come up with an idea, and she just kind of somberly walks home, and he runs into this construction site with penguins on it, and it comes to him finally that they could go to an aquarium to see penguins. To be fair, though, I probably wouldn't have thought of that either. But, so, he starts running back to her, and that new song hits on, and things are about to go down. She's got this blush on her cheeks, and he asks her if she wants to go, and she's like, if you're gonna say something, you gotta say it properly. And she gets this big gleam in her eyes and the rosy cheeks, and it is absolutely to die for. And so he properly asks her to go to the aquarium with him, and she goes, sure, senpai. And frickin' it's got the nice bubbly red smile, not even like an ounce of just anything to do with toying with him, and it is to die for. Like, they really nailed this down to a T. And from what I understand, and from what I've read of the manga, they're doing pretty good with the panel work. They are rocking this out of the park. And it's really nice to see just that other side of Nagatoro, her more girly side and less guard up defending everything side. It's just really makes you feel more related to her in a sense, And before we can cut off to the next scene, there's Maki and Yoshi chilling around the corner, because I think everybody just like lives in this like 2-block facility. And they're like, so the date's gonna happen, huh? And let me cut to the next day at school, and Nagatoro's she's getting real weird with it. She's singing this creepity creep song, and gets Yoshi to try to sing along, and apparently she can't harmonize with her shit is what we get out of that, but nonetheless, it is hilarious. Then, right afterwards, Senpai, we go to his side of it, and there is frickin' Hana just hyping him up and telling him congratulations with this big gleam in her eyes, just yelling it in his face. And so we cut back to Nagatoro again, and she's been just kind of spacing out and everything. I think mentally just not, she's just like, oh my god, I'm going on a date, you know, like just not even like thinking that this would ever happen. But she's got these eyes that are just determined, right, at this little doggy 3 phase. And so they're like, oh my gosh, she's not gonna bother Paizen today, she just wants to, you know, let him chill, most likely just mentally preparing for this date. But those two, of course, assume that she's like, you know, trying to take his virginity and shit. So they're like, we gotta protect Paizen. So they run to the art club. They run into Hana, and she's alone, and she's like, oh, he's the ones I've been hearing about, the devils themselves. And so she's like, oh, he's gone, he's buying art supplies. And so of course she knows that those two are gonna try fucking with their dates, and though she's like, oh my god, I gotta stop them from fucking with the date. So we've got this date, the two buddies trying to stop, quote unquote, Nagatoro from taking Senpai's virginity, even though Nagatoro's a virgin too. And then you've got well, you'll see, but you got at least Hana on the case as well. So there's Senpai picking out an outfit, and he's got this cardigan, a pink t-shirt, and a blue button up. And of course, those are his 3 choices he's having a hard time with. And so we go to Nagatoro's side, and oh my god, I'm really sad there's not more of Misaki, but we get Misaki staring into Nagatoro's room, and she's like, you could get a little sexier. And of course, Nagatoro's just fucking like, get out of here. One of the best scenes in this whole episode. I love freaking shit like that. Actually seeing Nagatoro's vulnerable, embarrassed side, absolutely to die for. But right after that, we see Senpai waiting out at McDonald's. I love the Japanese spin-off names for McDonald's. It makes me so happy. But we get there, and he's waiting there, and he's wearing that outfit he was lining up, minus the cardigan, thankfully. But he's got a fanny pack strapped along him, and Nagatoro shows up with this cute turquoise backpack and this white long t-shirt and shorts, and she instantly goes, Senpai, where are you taking me? And it's like, yo, it's the aquarium. Are you not paying attention? But right after that, we see frickin' Yoshi and Maki in quote-unquote hidden incognito with their hats on, just trying to protect Senpai's virginity. But then there's Hana and Sana on the other end watching those two to make sure that they don't fuck with it. And we see, this is where this comes into play now, Hana's got a modified helmet now too. It's the same helmet, but it's pink, and it's got the bunny ears now itself. So they both have that rocking out and going on. And that's the end of the episode, leading up into episode 12, the finale of this season, where their date's going to take full place. And this is a really good part, I guess, to end the season on. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's chapter like 88 in the manga, and it's pretty damn good. I'm really happy and excited about this. It's really ended up with like getting all of the characters involved for the season finale, and then just the chaos it's going to incite, and with all that also being added on to the fact that they're finally falling in like actual like love and being acknowledging of it, which is just really freaking awesome. And I love everything about this series, and it's gonna be really sad next week when it's over. And like I've been saying, we've got a lot to look forward to next season to talk about and like just discuss all in general, you know, but it's still sad. And yeah, this week I got a little bit more stuff to talk about on YouTube and everything. It's been a hectic few weeks. I've been trying to get, you know, at least minimum 2 videos out, but we're gonna try to get back to the 3 video routine here and just kind of munch them out, and go from there. So This has been episode 11 of Nagatoro. If you made it this far, please, I thank you very much. Leave a like, it helps me a lot. And subscribe if you're feeling generous. And I'll have plenty more content to come. Let me know what you guys think about this episode. I thought it was one of the best ones yet, but I say that every week. So, I mean, like, it is starting to sound like a broken record, you know? I think next week's gonna be the best one yet. This is just a precursor to it. I don't see this as like a 2-part episode, so yeah, a little treat. But yeah, this has been Squids, and I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Peace.